This video is from day 2 of my cycle from Tralee to Oranmore. On day 1, I'd cycled down the Dingle Peninsula over the Connaught Pass, and there's a video of that on the channel, and then camped at Winestrand. So day 2, I set off from Winestrand, back through Dingle, and in fact went all the way back through Tralee to Bannistrand, where I camped that night. Distance of about 106 kilometres. That was pretty considerable. As I explained in the Connaught Pass video, I had discovered that I'd forgotten to bring my spare batteries for my GoPro, and I'd also forgotten to bring the lead that enabled me to charge it off my power pack. So a bit of a disaster that way. But when I got to Dingle, I'd lunched there and I recharged the GoPro from a main socket over lunch. So when I was setting off in the afternoon, I'd only the one battery, so I knew that was only going to cover some of the distance, and I decided the most interesting thing to show you would be the route from Dingle to Annascaul Lough, which is a beautiful lake set back in the mountains off the main road, well worth a visit, but a little tricky to get to. So the main road from Dingle to Tralee is the N86. N is for National Road, and the National Roads, there's a lot of traffic on them. And often they can be relatively narrow as well. So my recommendation, if you're doing bikepacking around Ireland, is try and stay off national roads as far as possible. It's not always possible, particularly at bridges. You often need to go onto them. And what you'll find is that very often there is a network of local roads that will run parallel to those national roads. In some cases, those local roads are the old main road. So that's exactly the case leaving Dingle. There's the N86, but if you up the hill a couple of hundred metres, you'll find there's a parallel road to that. It stays parallel most of it. The one downside with the local roads is they tend to go up and down every hill. You don't get bridges going across valleys or any of that sort of stuff. But that also means they're much more scenic. If you're on a road bike, you probably want to have a look at this. If you're thinking of this route, look at the road surface. Some of it is pretty damn rough, and you'd be risking punctures, I'd say, in any case. Anyway, because of the battery problem as well, I filmed the first 2/3 of this using Timelapse, because that covers a greater distance for the same amount of battery power. And then the last third or so is normal video. So that's the section going up to the lake, up to the hill above the lake, and then down into the lake itself. It's the most beautiful bit. And if you listen carefully, as well as the birds, you'll hear a lot of sheep on it, because that's kind of very much sheep territory. There's a bit I cut out, which is dogs herding sheep on the road ahead that I had to stop for. Last thing to note, as I get to the lake, you'll see there's a gate across the roadway. You're allowed to go through that. That's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you open the gate, go through it, and then close it again immediately behind you. Go down to the lake, back up, and repeat that process. Don't leave the gate open when you're down there. The purpose of that is to stop sheep getting out, and obviously that's something that's important. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. There's a load more on the channel from this trip and other ones, and give me a follow and a like if you liked it.